Hi everyone, and welcome back to our TapRooT podcast. This week we'll be talking about the summit, all things summit, fun things, fun conversation. And I'm the global summit. The 2024 Global TapRooT Summit. Next year will be the 2025. So we'll keep updating this every year, but I'm here with Alex Paradies, and we're just going to have a fun little conversation about the summits.
Yeah, so 24 years, that's a pretty dang long time.
It's been 24 years?
Well, 24 summits.
24 summits. Okay. I was like, TapRoot's been in existence longer than that.
Yeah, we're at 35 years.
24 summits. So a little bit of the history here. The TapRooT Summit started in 1993. And Chuck Hopkins, I believe, right? It was Mark's mentor, was one of our first speakers, and he was a human factor speaker.
Well, so Chuck was an interesting guy. So Mark, when he was in the Navy getting his master's degree, Chuck was his mentor at University of Illinois. And Chuck had been involved in the 3 Mile Island investigation. And when they had wrote out this report, Chuck had this line in it that was, this requires a human performance expert. This requires a human performance expert. You would need a human performance expert to help you with this. So Mark had read through the report as a part of working on his master's, and he went to Chuck and said, I want to become a human factors expert. What do I need to do? And so that conversation led into basically them working together to create the first program for basically becoming a human factors expert. And they were always, he was a mentor to Mark, and he learned a lot about human performance, how to get people to be the most reliable they can be. And it really was a lot of the foundation that became the TapRooT process was started at Mark's time at the University of Illinois and the work that he did to get his master's. So Chuck being the first keynote speaker, I think, is a real kind of example of how we always look for such good speakers in our summit and look for speakers that are going to give real practical knowledge.
I also think it's just a testament to TapRooT in general that we are just human. It's been human factors based or baked in since 1993. So it's been over. That's how many years? 24, we said.
It's 30 years.
30 years.
It'll be 31 this year. 31
so
years this year.
I think that's just a testament to the TapRooT system in general. Something I found interesting in the history when I was going through Mark's history blog post, which I'll leave a link below. Y'all can go check out the whole blog post. Read the whole thing. It's really interesting. There's a lot of fun things in there. But I've been involved with the summits on and off again since 2006. And one of the things that stood out to me was the 2008 summit in Las Vegas. That's probably one of the summits I was really, really involved in. Mm-hmm. I think that was the summit you went around and did a whole bunch of recordings.
It was my first summit as well. Yeah, and I was involved in the video recording back then as a summer job, and I did video testimonials, recorded sessions. There's a video that you can find, go look for it on here, but it was a 2009 summit video. So
I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, so it's on our page. I made it after this 2008 summit, and it was a lot of those testimonials from that. And I was rewatching it recently. I had edited it, so I'm really nostalgic about it. But I was rewatching the testimonials, and the things that they were saying they loved about the summit. It was the great speakers, the networking, some of the topics that they were talking about, from investigation, grading, and building culture. It's a lot of the same topics that we hear from people today of how do I make my investigations better quality? How do I utilize best practices that all these people from around the world have come up with? And just watching that video, to think that we've been providing just such a high level of value for 24 summits now, and the people that were enjoying it back 2000 and 2008 are some of those people I still see them at the summit, and that's not the most number of visits. I can't remember who last year We were down to 3 people that had been to every summit.
I know Jack Frost is a consistent, like, up there.
Yep.
I can't remember. I don't remember if we did it last year. I can't remember who we picked last year.
There's 3 people that have been to every summit, and it was down to 3. There was 4, and it was down to 3 last year, and I can't remember all of them. But the fact that you've got so many people coming back every year, and there's just such a wealth of information. So again, check out that really. It's humorous because it's 2009 for editing. The quality is that. But
questionable.
But I'll tell you, no, it's brilliant. 4K. But that video kind of, to me, was such an eye-opening for how fun the summit can be. And when I got to go there, one of the things that always stood out to me was, obviously the sessions and the speakers are good, but the small conversations that people have. I had film that I had reviewed from it where we were at the reception, the big party on the Wednesday of the summit, and you're going around, you're seeing, that was the Vegas one, so we had Elvis dancing in there, and at the same time,
so we had some like card game or something that people could win.
Yeah, there was lots of things going on.
Yeah, a lot.
But you have that kind of stuff, but also you'd go to the tables and you'd hear conversations about the challenges that people were facing, and people were giving advice on things they've done. And one of the feedback that I always took away, and it was a speaker that said this, and they said getting people in groups to talk was the power of the summit. And that, the kinds of people that come to this are some of the I would say leading experts in HSE in the field, from just such a diverse group of companies. I mean, we have oil and gas, wind energy, onshore, offshore. We've got people in food production, manufacturing, utilities, pharmaceuticals. I mean, just a diverse group of people that are solving challenges in ways that, we frankly haven't thought of. And so it's just such a benefit to see people from all these different industries getting together.
That's part of when Mark and I and you and some of the people involved in building the summit. One of the things that Mark always highlights when he's talking about getting speakers and picking sessions is really picking people who either have a success story or a lessons learned, and also just being interactive so people can walk away with those takeaways, take them home, and have that guarantee that you're going to learn something that you can implement into your job that's going to help you perform better. That's always just like you were saying, those small conversations, they also help with that too. You network with the people, and you get to meet people outside your own industry and come up with creative, new, fun ways besides what you are normally in. Instead of your own group of people, instead of your own, say you're in utilities, you get to talk to someone who's in pharmaceuticals, and maybe they've implemented something that you can go, oh, I can use that too. So, yeah. Yeah,
and I think we do a lot of jobs. This is not, some conferences you go to, it's all consultant speaking, right? This is not one of those. This is a user-led conference. These people they're day in and day out applying. And I think you can look at some of the sessions and notice that. So one of them that I think of that's coming in this 2024 session, it's destroying silos. It was a case that one of our clients was bringing where they were doing an investigation, and what they realized was each of these different silos, engineering, safety, operations, did new parts of the information about what happened, but it wasn't until they brought everybody together from all of these cross-functional teams to build out their snap chart that they really got the full picture. Because if you just investigated in that narrow focus, oh, I found my problem that I'm going to fix. It wasn't until you brought everything together that you really saw how each piece of the business fit together and how you needed to get information. So that's a really great story to learn from. We also have really unique sessions like Mark, Barb, and I have put together based off of intercontinental ballistic missile silo that blew up in the U.S.
The ICBM.
Yep, the ICBM. There's part 1 and part 2. It's a 2-part session where we go through that incident. People get to build out snap charts and learn some best practices with it. They also get to go through and look at it from a causal standpoint. We're going to talk about causal factors and build through. And that's going to be kind of like a hands-on interactive session. And so you really can get diverse different sessions from looking at things like, okay, we've got user-shared best practice, but we also have these interactive learning sessions.
Yeah, there's one from, I don't want to try to pronounce his name because I know I'll butcher it, but it's Tim's guy,
Moonbasher. That's the Destroying Silos one, yeah.
That's the one, yeah. There's someone else, was it Air Canada or John Beam also as well does a session like that where you're going to learn about his, see, I can't remember. I have to go through and look.
His is I think it's improving safety culture, I believe is that one.
Yeah. So there's more than just one, and also if you're not, it's not just for TapRooT users as well, even though we encourage TapRooT users. There's also sessions that you'll learn that, such as Betsy Allie Manning, she'll have her reset and recharge session. So that's not just TapRooT focused. There's a broader, it's about burnout.
Yeah, I think we've got a good mix of tracks that help you kind of figure out where you're at. So the kind of, we'll call them TapRooT tracks. There's the improving investigations, instructor recertification. Those kind of tracks are very much focused on kind of not TapRooT stuff, but it's TapRooT investigation.
TapRooT adjacent.
It's TapRooT adjacent. It's TapRooT investigation.
Yes, yeah.
You've also got tracks that are focused on your improvement program. So there's an improvement program, human performance. There's a Kappa track. So those tracks are really about your program and how do you make it better. We then get to kind of the diverse tracks where you have a maintenance and reliability track. So not only at the summit can you bring safety people to this, but also bringing your maintenance, your reliability. Again, they do investigations. They want to improve their systems. They're a key critical part in your system. So we've got tracks that kind of apply to those. And then I think, I won't say it's the most diverse track, but it is a different track, which is our improving the psychology of improvement. And that's Barb's track, which has got that Betsy talk in there. It's got emotional intelligence one.
It's also got the psychology of a dangerous situation. Psychology of something. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's when
psychological safety one.
It's when a incident happens and like kind of like the fallout and the psychological. Not benefits. That's not the word I'm looking for.
Trauma
that happens. Thank you. Trauma.
Trauma.
Yeah, trauma that comes from that, and how to deal with that.
Yeah.
I would call it kind of like we had one lady who was in HR one year. She didn't do TapRooT investigations, but she was in HR, and her company used TapRooT, and she decided to become because of. Barb's track's been named different things over the years, but because of her tracking, she got good value from those things.
Yeah.
For that kind of difference of a track. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so looking at the diversity in tracks that we have, there's so much opportunity for a team. There's so much opportunity for getting diverse groups from your company to come because there's so much value that's spread out, and you can't attend it all.
Nope.
You know, I think we have 43 different sessions or something like that, or 44.
I think, 40, it's in the 40s.
Yeah, it's almost 50.
Almost 50, yeah.
But, you know, you can't attend that in 3 days. So.
Not unless you have that little turntable that Hermione had.
Hermione,
that's the only way.
Unless you got time travel. In which case, you know, that's an interesting use for it. It's coming to TapRooT Summit to attend every session. So there's so much opportunity there for that kind of diverse group and those different tracks to find something that fits for you.
Well, and also if you bring your team too and you all register together, you get pricing discount. And if you attend the pre-summit, which we have 11 different pre-summits to choose from, you get even more of a discount. And because if you're going to bring a team anyway, you might as well register all together and take advantage of that discount you get.
Yep. And you know, we had, was it last year, 17 people from one company
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the company that won the most attendees.
Yeah.
And so, there's so much benefit when you can bring groups, when you can get that cross-functional team, and we utilize that team part of it well, because one of the things that we do is we have a planning session in the middle of the summit, towards the end of day 2, Thursday.
It's on Thursday, right before the keynote.
And taking what you've learned in those first 2 days, but getting time to say, okay, let's take a second, bring in our knowledge, make a plan for some of the things we're going to attack when we get back. And so we really do try to provide not just moments of self-reflection, but also moments to prepare for what you've got to do. And a lot of times, you get to a conference, you feel good, you get all these ideas, and then you wait till you get home to make the plan, and you forget so much. So we try to be proactive, take those moments when we can, and set people up for success.
The summit is also just not about sessions, which is important.
Yeah.
But we also plan fun things for our attendees to enjoy at the summit. So it's not always just knowledge at you. So you get to have a little brain break. So on Wednesday, we get to do our reception, which Carl Dixon will be back this year, a crowd favorite. He'll be our musical. You get drinks, 2 drink tickets. It'll be our
more
drinks.
if you come see me.
Yeah, actually, I'm the one who handles the drink tickets. So just kidding.
She's not kidding. Come find her too.
You can bribe me or something.
No bribes. But
there'll be drinks and then hors d'oeuvres, and it's also just a great time to network.
Well, again, I think about like the 2008 Vegas summit.
There might be showgirls there.
Well, the hotel brought the
the big
showgirls.
flower headdress people or whatever they were. I don't know. It's not showgirls.
I don't think there's any showgirls in Horseshoe Bay.
No.
But that reception, we had an Elvis impersonator, and again, go find this moment in that 2009 video. You can find a moment where the Elvis impersonator is dancing, and it's embarrassing Anne. So go find that secret moment.
Great.
Josh can pull it up right now.
Just cut that.
So it's a great. There's so many great moments from
and we
this.
have costume, not contest. I think that year we did have a costume contest because it was 80s or 70s themed or 60s or something like that.
Gangster theme or something like that.
I can't remember what it was, but it was something like that. But we always try to incorporate some fun little things. Like last year we had lays and fun sunglasses.
Yeah, we were at Margaritaville last year.
So it was like Margaritaville themed. This year it's been decided, I believe, but I think it's something to do with Western this year. I think it's something to do with Western. You'll get summit attendees will get an invite when it gets a little closer. So
may need to bring a cowboy hat.
Yeah, maybe some French. I don't know. Whatever Western means to you.
But I'll say at those receptions, again, there's fun, but also, man, again, the conversations that happen during those, because people are so excited from what's going on that they're talking, they're sharing. You just get such a diverse group. And I have never heard anybody go, well, stop talking business. We're here to party. No, everybody's here to learn and share and hear from each other. So they're all just interested. And you can have such a good time just talking with people, sharing it over some food and some drinks, and just it's such a good community. And the community is one of peers. They're one of people with similar interests that are trying and striving. So the community at the summit is just it's such a different feeling.
Yeah. I had a thought when you were talking about being at the reception and the things to do. It made me think of also what makes the summit so successful is the places we choose to hold it. We want to make sure that we're providing a quality experience for people, so we try to choose places where you're going to have some fun and some activities, but you don't get so distracted that you don't attend sessions. So Horseshoe Bay has great amenities. There's this golf. It's known for its golf courses. They get their award-winning golf courses. It has this fun little putt-putt golf course you could do there, and it has little animals and birds you could see along the way. It's super cute. There's lots of restaurants. There's that sports bar. There's good restaurants to eat there. And of course, we provide lunch and breakfast.
Well, I think the benefit to people with these, and again, you look back at the history of TapRooT summits, how many people bring their spouses?
Yes, and even kids sometimes, if it falls on spring break.
I remember last year, one of the people who they won that early bird, his wife had come with him, and she actually. So he won. It was some
AirPod Max.
iPod the
AirPod Max
Pros. Yeah, big headphones. And he was like, "Well, my wife's gonna steal these because she knows I got them here."
Yeah.
And so she came down to the reception, which we love, to meet them. And so I remember her and meeting her there. And it's just people bring their spouses, their family. They have mini vacations sometimes around them, come early, stay late.
Yep. Because there's tons to do. I mean, why not take advantage of it while you're there, right?
Absolutely.
I think at Horseshoe you can rent jet skis and boats. There's a nice spa that one year when we got to do a summit visit there, a site visit, that Mark encouraged us to use so we could tell people about it. That was great. So
how nice of him.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Horseshoe Bay is I know one of our top locations that people always talk. They always say great things.
Well, you think about and it's the history there. We've been there. This would be our third or fourth time at Horseshoe Bay, I think.
I think this is our third.
Because I know we
had 1 year before that, and then we had the year where COVID hit when we were at Horseshoe Bay, which was crazy.
Yep.
And then we're coming back.
And to think about it, just the comparison from that year and this year, such good sessions that we have planned out and speakers and that was the first year, 2020, that was the first year Mark and I did the updated Stopping Human Error course.
Oh yeah.
And that's coming back. We've got that as a pre-summit course that people can sign up for.
We have Vincent Phipps coming back this year as a pre-summit course. He's very energetic. People always love him. Yeah.
Vincent Phipps, again, referencing back to old videos, we had him as a speaker back in, I want to say 2007 or 6. I think it was 2007. But, as a keynote, and he's been our keynote a couple times just because his energy is just there. And I can remember last year him doing his session. He was in 2 rooms over from me. 2 rooms over. You don't want to be the one right next to him, but 2 rooms over. You could still hear him sometimes just when he gets excited.
Yep.
There's so much energy that our speakers bring in our groups and our sessions. And so pre-summit courses are just a great way before the summit to maximize your learning. So you got the discount you were talking about from there, but also just such great opportunity at building advanced skills.
Such as like the case study workshop or trending or Jim Whiting's. I always hear good things about when people come out of that. His risk management.
His risk management course, yeah.
There's
Barb has
interviewing. Yep. There's also some auditing and
Marcus does the proactive TapRooT and auditing.
And a new one this year is Joel Solomon's developing incident command systems using TapRooT.
Yep, and I remember that was a one that came out of a session that he was talking about from last year. So he came and pitched, how do you take TapRooT and apply it to your incident management and set yourself up and make a plan so that when things happen, you have a really well laid out plan. You can even simulate and practice because you don't want to wait until the last second when you have an incident and you're struggling and running around to respond to things.
Yep, and then as you were saying too, you have a 2-day for your maintenance people, our Equifactor one. You also have our standard 2-day root cause analysis course. And then I think the last one is Dan and Angie's software.
Yeah.
Which is a good one if you want to learn how to use the TapRooT software better.
Well, and again, when you think of bringing cross-functional teams, you're bringing your maintenance group to attend for Equifactor. You've got quality and other people that are there for the proactive course. You've got human performance people coming to Stopping Human Error. Well, your TapRooT program, sometimes a lot of them hinge around using the software. And your software administrators are oftentimes an IT person that really isn't familiar with all the features. So when they're trying to help users, they really don't have that experience. Well, if they come to this course with Dan and Angie, your administrators, your super users, they can learn about all the different features. They can make changes and improvements to their software. And I mean, I just hear great things that come out of that. Also, they get to learn about all the secret new features. There's so many cool new things.
Yeah, he has also a keynote this year, Dan does, for software. And of course, when you're at the summit and pre-summits, there's our software experts all over the place there to help you do all sorts of things. But that kind of makes me think about what makes TapRoot's conference so different from other conferences that you've attended. I know what it makes for me because I set up a lot of the conferences that we go to throughout the year, such as ASSP, NSC. We're going to one in Germany this year. But what to you, what makes TapRoot different, stand out amongst those other conferences?
So I think of kind of three things for me. One is just the value you get out of the sessions. Again, we look for practical sessions, it's not consultants trying to sell you stuff sessions. It's real people dealing with real problems and how they overcame them. And so there's just so much practical knowledge that comes out of our sessions. I think the second thing is networking. Again, you don't get the same level of networking. A lot of conferences I've been to, it's people that are there to check boxes and get their hours for something.
Get their credits. CEUs, which we offer.
Which, yes, you can get your CEUs, but people go for the CEUs.
Yes.
I think people come to the TapRooT Summit for the quality and for the networking for the people. So I think that's something that's unique about our conference, or that I feel is different about our conference. I think the last thing is the uniqueness of the keynote speakers. There's a lot of speakers that you will see in other ones, but I think we have just a really good mix of humor and emotional speakers.
Yeah, I was thinking when you were saying keynotes, I was thinking about Redonda last year.
Yeah.
She was, it was very emotional, very relatable to people. It just really hit them in the heart. And then I was thinking about some of our other speakers too. She was a Texas A&M teacher. We had her quite a few times. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. But she had also a very high impact emotional speech. And like you said, Vincent, he was very energetic. Yeah. We try to always get those. We had that one comedian who was on America's Got Talent before he was on America's Got Talent. What's his name?
You're talking about the engineering comedian?
Yeah. I can't think of his name, but we had him. He was hilarious.
So we have those kinds. We've also had every Tom Hanks biopic character.
The guy who was on the Somalian pirates.
That's Captain Phillips.
Captain Phillips.
So we've had Captain Phillips. We didn't have Captain Sully, but we had the co-pilot.
We also had Matt Damon's the guy who did the oil rig, the explosion.
Not Matt Damon's. Is it Mark Wahlberg?
Oh, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. Mark Wahlberg.
But it's the real guy.
Yeah, the real guy. Not Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, but who Mark Wahlberg played.
Yeah, from the BP.
The BP oil explosion. Yeah.
Yes. So we get those. Last year we had Catch Me If You Can. Frank Abagnale. I can think back to, again, the 2008, we had Ed Fredericks, who was from the 3 Mile Island. He was one of the operators in the control room during 3 Mile Island.
We also have astronauts come and speak. We've had quite a few of those come and speak.
We've had Olympic medalists and astronauts. We had
all over the place.
And I ran into Inky in the airport in Atlanta.
Oh, did you?
We've had him speak when we had our conference in Knoxville.
Yeah, Candace Owens, the woman who lost her leg, she is also phenomenal. We've had her at this.
So we get these unique speakers, and I think we've always been able to relate it to something that impacts the people that are attending, whether it's looking for comedy and getting people to laugh and find enjoyment and how that inspires them to go on and do things, or if it's the more somber stories of people overcoming adversity from either their low points from accidents that have happened to them, or looking at things of how they've overcome those tragedies and turned it into valuable lessons for people. And so I think the summit speakers have always been inspiring and enjoyable. And I think we do a good balance of that.
Well, I think we covered everything. I think that we talked a lot about the summit here.
If there's anything we've missed, and like I said, you can come check out great sessions. If you're looking for the summit, check out my track, the Human Performance Track. Shameless plug. But there's really great opportunities for anyone in the improvement industry, quality, safety, maintenance, anyone in the support parts of an organization, from leadership, HR. This is a unique summit. It's a unique conference to attend. And I think that missing out on this you're going to miss out on something that could be the highlight of your year. Definitely.
I mean, at least that's how we feel. I feel like that. We put a lot of work and effort into these things, and we always get high praises. Always. People always walk away with something of value, whether it's something they implement in their day-to-day work, so they even implement into their day-to-day lives. You can always walk away. We guarantee it. Yep. Well, thank you, Alex. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. You can find those links down below, such as Alex's fun flashback video, the blog article Mark wrote, and anything else I find that might pertain to the summit of interest to you guys. Just check out the description box below. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and our social medias, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified when we upload a video every Thursday at 2 p.m. So we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.